What's up? What's good? What's Gucci? Especially to my homies out in Europe. The chances are, if you're in a European country right now, you're probably in lockdown. Which means that you might have a bit more time to read manga or watch anime or play games or whatever. And on that note, I have 5 manga for you guys. But not in the way that other people are doing it, in the Hero 5 manga that you should read during quarantine or during lockdown. Rather, these are 5 manga that you shouldn't read during lockdown. Blue Lock is a sports shonen anime made by Kaneshiro Muneyuki. The best way to describe Blue Lock would be Kuroko no Basket meets any battle royale game out there right now. The story begins with Japan's elimination from the FIFA 2018 World Cup, which prompts the Japanese Football Union to start a program scouting high school players who will begin training in preparation for the 2020 Cup. Isagi Yoichi, a forward, receives an invitation to this program soon after his team loses a chance to go to the Nationals because he passed to his less skilled teammate who missed, without trying to make the game-changing goal by himself. Their coach should be Eigo Jinpachi, who intends to destroy Japanese loser football by introducing a new radical training regime, isolating 300 young strikers in a prison-like institute called Blue Lock, and put them through rigorous training aimed at creating the world's greatest egotistic striker. What Blue Lock does really well is that it combines the level of hype and technicality found in football and blows it up to the level of fantasy, similarly to how Kuroko no Basket does it with basketball. Oh, but Blue Lock does not stop there. It also takes the savagery found in various survival manga, despite not even having stakes that high itself. But somehow, the existence of the savagery in Blue Lock gives birth to one of the most authentic sports atmospheres I've seen in a manga. So if you have an itch to play football in your house for any reason, Blue Lock might be able to scratch it for you. So the next 2 manga I recommend you not to read are Kamisama no Itori and Imawa no Kuni no Arisu. These are the only 2 on the list to be adapted into different forms. Imawa no Kuni no Arisu has a OVA, and they both have Netflix adaptations, live action Netflix adaptations. So there's more than one way to watch those 2. But I still say the manga's the best way to do it. The second reason I put these 2 manga together is because they ooze pure escape from energy with death game vibes. In fact, I think it'll be best if I just break them down together at the same time rather than do one then the other. Because I mean, they have more similarities than I thought when I originally wrote them down. So the synopsis for Kami-sama no Itori reads as Shun Takahata finds his daily life boring and uneventful. That is, until his teacher's head explodes. Out of the remains of the corpse comes forth a Dodoma doll, marking the beginning of a sadistic game. All who move when the Dodoma is looking will be killed, and the winner will be the one to push the button on the Dodoma's back. Shun manages to remain calm through the slaughter of his classmates and becomes the sole victor in his class. But upon the game's completion, he finds that he's still locked inside the school and is forced to play through another hellish event. Who exactly is concocting these mysterious games, and is there any end in sight? Shun gives his all to find other survivors and work together to survive the Dodoma's murderous tests. And meanwhile, Imawa no Kuni no Alice, also known as Alice in Borderland, reads Arisu Ryohei will leave high school soon, but he's trying to avoid thinking about his future. Late one night, when he's hanging out with his tough friend Kurabe and his city girl crazy friend Chota, they see fireworks. After one blindingly bright explosion, they find themselves waking up in a different world. In this borderland, people are forced to either participate in potentially deadly games or simply die. Will Chota, Karube, and Ryohei be able to survive this dangerous new world? And is there any way they could get back to their original lives? See, now when I say it like that, they do sound extremely similar. Like they both had the same convention of like death games, trying to survive, trying to find out, like just trying to get to an end. I mean that's the general idea. If there's a death game, you kind of want to leave. And literally, as I was making this video, I just found out that Imawa no Kuni no Alice has a sequel that came out on the 14th of October. All in all, I recommend this one, well, I recommend these 2 to for anyone who's trying to turn their house into an escape room for any reason. Alright, you don't need to do that. Just read these two manga and you'll be good. Alright. We've now made it to the final two, which I'm also grouping up, seeing as these two are hell similar as well, like the previous two. So in this bundle, we have ourselves Ida no Ori and Siren. Both of them are kind of isekai versions of the survival game genre. Well, not isekai, they're in the same world, but it's just a different world in the same world. You need to read them. You need to read them to understand. It'll click when you read them. Getting back to topic, the synopsis for Ida no Ori reads as: just a few hours ago, Akira Sengoku was having fun with his classmates on their flight back to Japan from a school trip in Guam. He now finds himself all alone in the jungle after the plane mysteriously crashed. While searching for survivors, his surroundings become increasingly suspicious as he stumbles upon various animal species he's never seen before. Finally, he manages to find two survivors, his classmate Shiro Maria and cabin attendant Kanako Omori, being attacked by a 2-meter tall bird. After barely managing to escape with their lives, Shiro uses his computer to pinpoint their exact location and shed some light on the strange creatures that they have encountered. What he discovers is beyond anything they expected. They have crash landed on an island in the Pacific that shouldn't exist, inhabited by animals that supposedly went extinct millions of years ago. Ida no Ori tells the story of Akira and the others' struggle on an island all too eager to see them disappear. With predators lurking around every corner, Akira and his friends must use all their wits to survive and unravel the mysteries of the island's origin. Meanwhile, Siren breaks down as: Ageha Yoshina is a self-confident high school student who helps others for a fee. On his way back from a job, he finds a strange calling card with the word Siren imprinted on the back. He decides to keep the card, unaware of his purpose. The very next day, Ageha discovers that his classmate, Sakurako Amamiya, has the exact calling card in her possession. When he questions her, Sakurako asks him to save her, signaling the day his troubles began. Confused by the circumstances of this encounter, Ageha realizes something is wrong when Sakurako goes missing. In an attempt to figure out what's happening, he decides to call the number on the card, and is asked a series of questions by a mysterious voice, ending with a final cryptic question: would you like to go to Siren? And thus begins the two teenagers' participation in a game of life or death within a strange world inhabited by monsters called Taboo. Granted the ability to use psychic powers known as PSI, the duo fight to return to the place they call home. Like, for me, Ida no Ori is a strange one, because I liked it a lot, but right now I don't really have much to say about it other than it's pretty much Battle Royale, the movie, the Japanese one, not like a Battle Royale game, but the actual movie that came out out in the 90s, I think, whenever it came out in Japan. Meets there's an anime that came out, I think it was 2 years ago from the day of recording this anyways. I think it was like Island of Bugs. So it's pretty much mixing those two, but replace the bugs with like prehistoric creatures and such that just don't make sense. And then you pretty much get Ida no Ori. Oh, but Siren on the other hand, Siren, I could talk about Siren for a long time, for a long time. Like, the fact that Siren doesn't even have an anime is just a misjustice. What's the word? The best way to describe Siren would be, well, at least using modern anime, the best way to describe it would be to compare it to Axel World, where when the characters use their brain burst, they get transported to a different world. Except the only difference is the world they get transported to isn't a game world. It's like, if they die, they die. Ultimately, I'll recommend these two manga to anyone who's trying to go outside, but legally can't because the police are around the corner and they will. Yeah, that took a turn. Wow. So don't go outside, read these two manga instead. And that was 5 manga that you probably shouldn't read, because chances are they'll end up having you act a fool during lockdown. I mean, Blue Lock will probably have you playing football in your house. Kami-sama no Itori and Imawa no Kuni no Aris. Oh, I got that right the first time. Whoa. Both of those would have you trying to make an escape room out of your house with a bunch of dangerous objects, which I'd rather you not be doing. And Ida no Ori and Siren would just have you trying to run outside just to be outside. That's it. Just to be outside. Which you can't do because it's lockdown. At least you now have 5 new manga to read. Uh yeah, to take up your time, any spare time you have really. And I have 5 manga to read again because I've actually finished all of these, which is why I can talk about them. At least Blue Lock isn't finished, but I'm up to date so I can still talk about it. Oh. Anyways, with that, I'm signing